Welcome to the end of day review for Tuesday, the 13th of February 2024. Starting off with the economic calendar, what we can see is that we had one dreadful news event for the GBP, particularly for the London session, and then we had CPI news for the US session. In terms of the GBP, we can see we had a bunch of positive GBP news supporting longs for the London session, and then for the New York session, we had positive USD news which supported shorts in the New York session for GBPUSD. Having said all of that, let's move into the 4-hour chart where we can unpack this. In terms of market structure, we know we are confirmed bearish at this point, with the pro-trend move being to short. Essentially, we started off the morning right around here at about 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. Frankfurt time. Coming into the morning, we knew that we could both long and short, and that's purely for the reasons that the pullback phase, which is this OB right here, this leg right here, was validated as a result of this pro-trend OB being body broken. At the same time, we did have a pullback phase OB also break, and that validated the pro-trend primary leg. And since both of these legs were validated, there was reasons to trade both directions. As you can see, we had an interaction with this window of imbalance, which resulted in multiple interactions with this 4H primary OB, each interaction often resulting in taking out the previous reaction and then wicking this 4H OB. However, the body break only came this morning between 8 and 12 p.m. my time. And this candle can be explained due to the GBPUSD positive claimant count change, which essentially meant it was good unemployment news for the GBP, and as a result GBPUSD went to the upside. And then in the New York session we had positive CPI news, although not great for interest rates because inflation's going up and general cost of living. What it did mean is the USD was stronger, and as a result we can see this large move down. What that did do is actually body break this last point of supply pullback for HOB, and now from this point onwards there is a 4H validated primary leg from which only shorts make sense, since the pullback phase has achieved its objective of reaching the pro-trend extreme. I use this large OB because this is the candle, the 4H candle, that made the highest point prior to this big move down, and thus this entire candle is the pro-trend confirmed extreme and encompasses a window of imbalance, which you can see was tapped right there. Having said all of this, it essentially means that going forward for the remainder of the week, at least until we take out this external range liquidity, there is external range liquidity, or alternatively we actually extend this pullback phase leg, which you can see right here. If we extend it, then the pullback phase will come back into effect. Obviously we reach the pro-trend extreme, so we'll need the last point of supply pullback phase to be identified and backing to longs, but perhaps I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's focus on today. So like I said, coming into the London session, we had sorry about that, I just needed to attend to something, but what I was saying is that coming into the London session, we knew we could trade both directions, and we knew that we should wait for the claimant count news to come in, and that would likely tell us which direction to trade. However, at the same time, there was a couple of options to navigate this, and we needed to pay attention to the 5 or 15 minute legs that play within this range, so that we could identify which direction was in control. So having said all of that, I'm going to move into the 5 minute, and then we can go back to the 4-hour prior to the New York session. So what we can see is that yesterday on Monday we had that interaction at the, well, we extended the 4H pullback phase primary leg right here. That resulted in the primary leg being extended, and this pullback phase secondary leg right here evolving into the 4H primary pullback phase leg. However, from a pro-trend perspective, we were still reacting to this 4H primary leg without body breaking it, so this pro-trend secondary leg was then validated. Because the pullback phase had a primary leg extension, we could use 5 minute unmitigated levels to then validate a new pullback phase secondary leg. Since this is the latest secondary leg, it overrides the previous information, and thus there is only reasons to trade long. However, given that we within this and we're unable to trade in the Asia session, in order to actually validate trading going to the upside without actually validating a tertiary leg, which is invalid in our trading plan, we had to wait for this pullback phase secondary leg to be extended. And that's precisely what the GBPUSD news did. Sorry, the GBP claimant count news did for us, because it was positive. GBP went to the upside. However, it didn't pull back sufficiently for us to actually take a trade to capitalize on the long move in the London session. And by the time we got to the lull, at this point any trading is halted until CPI, because of the nature of CPI being so significant in the spread increase. As you can see, this move here is probably 80 pips on its own. It's what the entire Frankfurt in London and probably some of Asia took to move the entire day, and it was all reversed in pretty much one candle. So for that reason, if you trade in London, you should exit your positions at the London lull, so that when you do have red folder, significant red folder US news, it's you avoid any uncertainties as a result of that. So that was the London session. Power bias for longs that played out quite well because of this pullback secondary leg. So we were right on that front, and then obviously once we came later in the London session, this Proton 4H OB actually failed, which then invalidated any shorting until we got to another Proton where we could begin to validate a primary leg again, and that's pretty much the area where we reached. However, at this point we were at the London lull, and we only had scope for shorting, because now that we've reached the Proton confirmed extreme, the pullback phase has achieved its leg. Its objective, and if we wanted to trade long, we needed support from this 4H last point of supply pullback phase OB. However, for the New York session, we knew that we'll wait for CPI news and then try and fade the news release accordingly. However, at no point was there any opportunity to get in short, and by the time the candle closed, we already moved majority of the daily range, and not too long thereafter we completed the daily range and exceeded it. We also body broke this 4H pullback phase El Paso OB. So the pullback phase is officially ended, and from now on, based on this 4H primary leg, there's only scopes to short, unless, like I said earlier, those one or two scenarios play out, then we can resume the pullback phase. However, that's pretty much the day. Quite eventful in terms of news events and market direction, and actually getting both directions right. Unfortunately, there just wasn't any opportunity to get in, not with this much volatility anyway. Other than that, I hope you had a good trading day, and we'll chat again tomorrow for the London outlook.